Is there a specific frequency of training that you found worked better for you? And this is about you. So this is not necessarily advice to other people, but for you specifically, did you stumble across a frequency that just meshed well with your goals and your lifestyle?
I did. When I first started, I was training 6 days a week. I was hitting each body part twice a week. And, at 23, at that age, it worked well for a couple of years. And
Right.
then my gains slowed down to a crawl. And so, getting back to my debut with the WNBF in 94, I'd been looking at, I had a few copies of the magazine, Natural Bodybuilding magazine, and seeing the guys, it's like, I can be competitive with these guys. We got in the pump up room, everybody took their clothes off, started pumping up. I'm like, holy mackerel. These guys are a lot bigger and more ripped than what they look like in the magazine. And that's the only show. And I probably over my career competed in at least 100 shows. That's the only show that I did not make the top 12. Before that, I had made the top 12. In fact, I placed as high as fourth at the NPC USA Championships and made the top 12 in the middleweights at the NPC USA. And I didn't make the top 15 at that first WNBF show. I was in great shape. In fact, the vice chairman stopped me as I was leaving the auditorium and he said, "Look, man, you look fantastic. You have great symmetry and proportion. You're shredded. You just need to be bigger, be competitive." And I was thinking, have I elevated myself to my level of incompetence? And I was like, man, I got to give another shot. I got to do something different. What I did is I went from training 5 or 6 days a week to only 3 days a week.
Oh,
So
wow.
on Mondays, I would train legs. Wednesdays, I would train chest, shoulders, and triceps. On Fridays, I would train back and biceps. And when I gave myself those days of rest, I started gaining muscle and strength so fast. People were asking my training partner if I'd gotten on steroids. And in 10 months, I gained 9 pounds of muscle. And that was more than I had gained in the previous 5 years combined. And so what I wound up doing is in the off season, I would train 3 days a week. And then pre-contest, I would lift. And I'm saying training. This is not counting cardio, but I changed my lifting pre-contest program to 4 days a week. So it'd still have more rest days. And that's when I went from not making the top 15 at the World Championships, the next 2 years, 95, 96. And again, this was when there weren't weight classes in the pro division WNBF. I placed third in the Mr. Universe both those years. 97, I won the Pro International, and I think I was second at the Universe. And in the 98, I won the whole deal, the World Championships.
So you were training 3 days a week, maybe four if it was contest prep,
Yeah,
leading up to the Pro World Championships.
yeah.
So, not many people or competitors are doing that because they think that they're afraid they actually might lose muscle because they're training less. So, can you enlighten the listeners and,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the more is better principle.
right.
When I was still coaching, I was at a seminar. The strength coach from West Point was giving a talk, and so the whole auditorium full of strength coaches. And he comes in, and the first thing he says is, "I'm going to tell you guys something. You're going to think I'm crazy." Okay, he goes, "Your muscles don't grow when you're lifting." And so we're all looking at each other. Okay, what's the punchline here? He goes, "You stimulate your muscles when you're lifting. They grow when you're resting." He goes, "You guys are working with teenagers, got hormones going like crazy. But if you don't give them time to recover from their workouts, they're still going to make progress, but you're slowing it down."
Sliding in those extra rest days between workouts, let's talk about what level of intensity of effort were you putting in that change there as well? Or was it more so just the fact that you were able to progress your lifts because you were just more recovered?
I ran track in high school and junior college. Yeah, my best event was a half mile. And so I was no stranger to super intense training and effort. And so up until, I retired from competing, my training was brutal. Only way to put it, brutal.
Let's talk about how long did your workouts last typically at this point? Like, were they an hour and a half, an hour, 2 hours?
Hour and a half at most.
So how long were you there for? Did you say a couple days, like 3 days?
Yeah, 2 days I trained with him.
What did you guys do? Do you remember?
We worked out together, and then there was just a lot of bullshitting going on.
Right.
He told me stories. And here's the funny thing about Frank Zane.